Martin Luther's not my favorite. In my mind, he stayed Roman Catholic his whole life. Like, he never became a Protestant. It was Calvin who really developed what Protestantism was, not Luther.
I don't think that the major Protestant denominations all descend from Calvinism, do they?
No, not at all. But Calvin's Reformation came right on the heels of Luther's. So Luther had some complaints about the Catholic Church, but still saw himself as Roman Catholic till the day he died. Calvin completely and utterly rejected everything that Catholicism stood for.
Right.
So that's why I say, like, it wasn't, if we were to point to a real ancestor, it wouldn't actually be Luther. It would be something more like Calvin. But no, I mean, I'm Wesleyan. I'm Wesleyan. I'm descended from the Church of England, right? So we are super anti-Calvin in every possible sense.
Yeah, screw that guy.
Are you Anglican? Are you Anglican?
No, I'm Free Methodist, but it's a breath away from the Church of England.
Now, I don't want to upset my Christian brothers and sisters, but when it came to Jesus, it was not John the Catholic who prepared the way. It was John the Baptist.
Oh my gosh, bro. That's the same arguments the Baptists make, actually, some of them.
Feels like a knockout argument.
Also, the church was started on the day of Pentecost.
Great.
If I could ask, like, all these denominations, like, because I didn't know how vast y'all were, like, speaking in England here and there, you know. But me being an American, you know, I mostly in, I guess, the Southern American, you know, grew up in New Orleans and Texas. You feel me? But like, where do y'all predate like Baptists?
Wait, who's y'all?
Well, let me be specific. Like,
the Calvinists?
Yeah, like the Calvinists and the Church of, like, what you were saying, England. Like,
all right, here's how this went in a super brief, right? Okay, so
timeline.
So this is my time. Do you know that song? Yeah. Okay, timeline. All right. So Christ dies, and then the apostles go out in the book of Acts, and Paul writes a bunch of epistles. So now we have this record in the New Testament of how the early church was set up. And then pretty early, what we call the Universal Catholic Church was set up, meaning one faith. This is all one faith united around the gospel. And that goes on for about 1,000 years. And there's other groups like the Waldensians. There's a couple of churches in Africa. So then at about 1,000 years, the church splits into two, which is generally Orthodox and Catholic. A few outlying groups, but it's really just that. Then 400 years after, Martin Luther protests against the Catholic Church and Protestantism is born. Meanwhile, Orthodoxy is still doing the thing it's been doing since year 34, right? So it's like there's these kind of branches, if that helps. And then after Luther's Reformation, there came a bunch of what we call Protestant denominations, but this has everything to do with how the individual churches are governed. So who's overseeing, how they're funded, who's voting. You're not going to find like Baptists and Presbyterians who don't let each other take the Eucharist. They're united on...
When did the Baptists start?
They argue that they started with the Waldensians prior to the Great Schism. I don't know if I buy that.
What are there major, like, I kind of am familiar with, like, Catholics. Like, they got, you know, the things that make them different. But, like, as far as, like, and I am kind of familiar with the Eastern Orthodoxies. But, like, the rest, like, the Martin Luther's, like, in general practice, in general beliefs, are there huge differences?
Well, so here's what, to be a Christian, you have to hold to the following things at minimum, right? You have to believe that Christ is God. You have to believe that God is triune. You have to believe that the Bible is reliable, and I would say inerrant, meaning that there aren't any, like, mistakes in it, that it's a completely reliable document. Did I already say Jesus Christ is God, Bible is inerrant, Trinitarian, and that salvation comes through Christ alone, right? That's the definition of what a Christian is. Then they argue about when do we baptize people? Do we do it as infants or do we do it as adults? How should we tithe? Do we do 10% or do we do it by free will? How many churches should we have in one city? Should we have a board of elders with 10? Should we skip a board of elders? that's where you get denominations on issues that are not like salvific, right? So, for example, I'm Free Methodist, and so I hold to all of the things I just said. And a Catholic and I would have that in common. We both believe we're saved by Christ alone. We both believe that Christ is God. We both believe that God is triune. So we would both fit that like Christian bubble, right?
Also Russian Pentecostals.
Yeah, go away. So then there's the Unitarian Church that believes that you can get to heaven through like all different ways, and Jesus was a cool dude. Not Christian. So me and the Catholic are much closer than me and the Unitarian because they don't fit the definition of Christian. Same for Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, and that kind of ilk, like Seventh-day Adventists. They don't hold to what the rest of the church has held to for 2,000 years.
Yeah. Even because even with the similarities of Islam, they don't believe Christ is king. So
Well, they'll argue that they love Christ more than we do, but their book calls him Isa, and Isa is not Jesus Christ. Whoever Isa is, he said and did and taught and believed different things than Jesus Christ did. So they use the word Jesus, but it's not the same guy.
yeah, no.
A lot of the
Nominalism.
denominations were churches. But even to this day, until recently, I think Norway was, what was it, Lutheran, or Germany? I think a lot of the European states financed churches. And so I think a lot of the split had to do with nationalism too.
Yeah, like you would find like so in America, Methodism really took off because of the Wesley brothers touring and preaching in the Great Awakening, or the Second Great Awakening, and so Wesleyanism became very popular in the U.S. It never really picked up in England like it did here, but we have the Church of England in common. That's the ancestor like of both the Anglicans and the Methodists. So the Methodist is the American brand of the Church of England, essentially. So yeah, there's geographical boundaries like that. But if I walked into a Church of England congregation in London, we would have a lot of the same beliefs, and they would allow me to take part in their communion. So it's not as distant as it sounds.
It sounds like much ado about nothing to me. And by the way, the Mormons believe in Jesus Christ.
They
not
do not.
Christian.
No,
They have their own.
Okay.
Right.
Wait, I know
Yeah,
this
get
speech,
into
by
it.
the way. Go ahead, I know this.
The Mormons.
The Mormons are Muslims.
I want to hear
because
Amir
they
do
don't
it.
believe that Jesus Christ is God.
No way, the Muslims are
Hey, here
Mormons.
goes Norman. They call it Jesus, but it's not Jesus. When you say his brother is who, Satan or something like that, and you have a whole different story, you may call him the same name, but it's not the same name. It's not the same person.
They also think Hashem was a man in creation, then became God. How does that make you feel?
Well,
as a
yeah, they
secular?
do. And their
Why
belief
do we
is
have
that-
this like single digit IQ guy here?
Which one?
Shake.
The Down syndrome person who's using the name Sheikh.
Oh my goodness. Even the crazy people called Einstein crazy.
What?
Yeah, that was dumb.
Don't dwell on that. Let's move on.
And Einstein was cool until I realized he was actually crazy for not accepting the Messiah. Hopefully he did later on,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, after he died, for sure.
Can we not censor the most retarded person in the room for once?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm not Jewish.
Don't apologize, we don't want you.
Anyway, Norm, that's
Sorry, you're not Jewish, so don't
That's
count.
your answer. By the way, I learned that on Clubhouse. Before Clubhouse, I would have not made a distinction between Mormons and other Christians, just from ignorance.
Well done.
Also,
I'm very proud of you.
crazy, bro.
You nailed it. Yeah, we can't call a sect. So, I mean, part of the Mormon belief is that Christ was a creation, was a human who attained godhood, and that we will all do the same. They also don't believe that they don't believe that Yahweh is the true God. They believe that Yahweh is a God under other gods, and that when we die, we'll all go be gods equal to Yahweh. Like, that's not Christianity.
That's so
God, they believe that God was a man that became. God.
Right.
Jesus was a spirit child, like Satan, and they were brothers, and they came to the earth.
And they might stab you. They might stab you. You talk shit about Joseph Smith.
Wait, can we go back to Joseph Smith's actual brother?
Joseph Smith was turned and feathered.
Yeah, how are they brothers?
Well, Barth is gonna have to plug his ears again. I mean, like, because in every belief except for Catholicism, Mary went on to have other children. The Bible says that Joseph did not know her intimately until after the baby was born. So, like, they could have had 10 other children.
The thing is,
That's problematic.
the thing
How
is
is
about
that problematic?
the Mormons.
Because Catholics say that she remained without sin for the rest of her life.
How is having sex with your husband sin?
Yeah, that's not sin.
Oh la la.
That's not sin.
Yeah, well, you'd have to flesh that one out for us.
The Bible don't have us walk around like nuns. You feel me? Not from my perspective.
Yeah,
Where does the Bible say that you can only get information from the Bible?
Who said that?
That's right. That's a Catholic argument.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The church made the Bible. The Catholic Church.
So you guys are not sola scriptura?
Wait a minute, I don't know that you could argue that the church made the Bible. That's a weird. I don't know if I'd buy that one.
Well, I'm sorry, it came from the church.
Do you mean they
First
compiled
Christians didn't
it?
have- The first Christians didn't have a Bible. Jesus left a church. And
They sure did have a Bible.
One
What?
second,
They didn't have a New Testament.
When he's writing the letter to the Corinthians,
Yeah.
what do you think is going on there?
Wait, okay. When you say the word Bible, do you mean epistles?
No, he
Can
didn't
you
have
answer
the
my
New
question, though,
Testament.
Steph? Yeah, please, answer my question, Steph.
Right, so before
If he's writing a letter to the Corinthians, if he's writing the letter to Rome, what are they reading when he's writing the letter?
the word
Right,
is
so
of
in
God.
order to answer your question, I want to know how you're using the word Bible before I use it.
New Testament.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Okay, so if we use the word Bible to mean just the Gospels and epistles, I wouldn't agree with that.
Right. Gospels.
Yeah. So when I hear the word Bible, I'm thinking the document that predated Christ by nearly 2,000 years as well.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine. No, that's the Bible is the Old Testament and the New Testament.
Yeah.
Jews never called it the Old Testament.
Right. That would exactly be my position also.
Right.
Exactly. So then, what did they? Yeah. So what did they have?
So I would argue that what Christ is.
The Torah, right?
Yeah. What Christ is quoting is what we would consider Bible. We would as Christians.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Okay.
I
The
misstated
Bible
that.
is the Bible after the New Testament is added to it. That's the Bible.
Oh, okay. If you are a man standing in the year 100 AD, then I guess. But today, Christians, when they use the word Bible, generally mean the whole thing.
Because that's why we have the argument to say that when he's writing letters to Rome, the Corinthians, Thessalonians, all of them, they don't have a New Testament to abide by. They have, what do they have? They have
Okay, I see what you're asking.
the Pentateuch, or whatever you know.
And they have
They had what we would identify as the New
They had a
Testament.
church, exactly, because he's writing the letter to the Corinthians. Like, I didn't think I had to say that 3 times.
Hold on, okay.
It's just-
No, I understand the argument you're making. I've heard Catholics make this argument. The part that I would not agree with you on is that we had the scriptures compiled, all of them, 150 years after the death of Christ. They were established, canonized, compiled, and circulated widely. So when Paul wrote a letter to Corinth, the minute it got there, it got copied at least 100 times and distributed. Like these people don't have 5 jobs. They're people whose entire life it is to just copy and deliver and distribute letters. So by the year 200, there were plenty of copies of the New Testament as we would recognize it today, floating around all of these churches all the way into Africa and India.
I don't know if it was
I think you're
canonized
missing
that
the
early.
point. I think you're missing the point, but
By canonized, I mean recognized as divinely inspired and set as the set of documents we're using. So the
Right,
Catholic
right.
Church made that
if you're
formal
talking
in
about
a Western
preservation
sense.
or like are you talking about distribution? That's not.
Brett, no, okay. We have this
What we're
really
talking
handy thing called the Muratorian Fragment, right? The Muratorian Fragment is the first document that we have that outlines what the books of the Bible are. And it's from like right before the year 200. And it exists from then. So we know that all of those books were established prior.
Who is Paul writing letters to?
Whoever the title of the epistle
The
is.
church
All right,
is
are
Corinth.
they churches?
The church is.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. So then the church was established before
Did you hear anything I
the
just said?
scriptures.
The church was not established before. Okay.
Okay, so
Who was he writing letters to? All right, well, I'm going to ask it again. You obviously
Okay.
don't
The
get
problem.
what
All right.
you
I'm trying to identify your preconceived. Christ, when he's quoting scripture, is not at all appealing to a Catholic church. He's quoting scripture long before the
I
church
never
ever
once
formed.
said those churches were Catholic.
Does anyone else understand
said
what I'm trying to say?
He
Yes. She's saying that Christ is rethink the world.
established a church. So
Agreed.
he established churches, and Paul is going around writing letters to them as he's doing his European tour. Then those churches were probably established before the Gospels.
No.
So he left the church.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah. So
He
so
didn't
would you
leave the
say?
Gospels.
Do you agree that the genesis of the church is at Pentecost?
Yes.
Okay, Michaela's with me. I don't know if Barth is with me. If the establishment of the church is at Pentecost, then yes, the church predates all of the New Testament. However, right, the church does not predate Scripture or Yahweh's revelation. So to say that the church, whether it's the Methodists or the Orthodox or the Ethiopians or the Catholics,
You mean Jesus? You mean Jesus' word?
Yahweh is
He
God.
the word. I don't know when you said Yahweh there. I kind of got like my lips started to move like rapidly. You mean Jesus?
nope.
Was
When
the
I
one
said
who
Yahweh, I
authored the
meant
Torah.
Yahweh.
I don't know. Maybe you've been hanging out too many Calvinists. I don't know
Could
what's going on.
we get used to saying more of Jehovah?
Yehovah.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. Now that's what the Jehovah's Witnesses gotta get
We're
used.
gonna be accurate. Use Yehovah.
So I have more information on the Virgin Mary. So she was a virgin her entire life. So before birth, during birth, and after birth, and at the time of death. And we know this through two separate councils, a papal affirmation, and it's also part of the magisterial teaching.
Yep. Do you know where both of
so-
those sources that from?
Well, it starts with the Second Council of Constantinople,
Yeah.
which gives it as a title, and as a title, it means that it's an assumption, and assumptions at councils are only possible when there's universal reception.
They get it from the Proto-Evangelium of James. That's where they get that belief about Mary, which is a very early document, but has never been canonized by anyone ever. So the council is not the dawn of that belief.
The Second Council made a dogmatic definition, the Lateran Council 649. The Catechism of the Church makes it part of the magisterial synthesis, and the papal information makes it a heresy to deny it. So anyone who denies the Virgin Mary always remaining always in her virginal integrity, namely before birth, in birth, and after birth. Denial of this is heresy.
Well, hold on. Denial of, oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. So by that logic, lots of things are heresy that are not heresy. Like, no, hold on. Like the veneration of icons. Those same councils decided that if you don't venerate icons, you're anathema, you're not saved. If you don't believe
It's heresy because of a separate papal declaration that was done
Yeah, but
late
this is circular
1565.
logic because she's not going to.
Mir, thank you.
No, there's no circular logic.
No, because well, it's not circular logic, but she's not. It's a call to authority that she doesn't accept. She's
Right.
not going to accept the papal declaration. It's not circular.
And what I'm saying is, prior to all of those councils and the papal declaration, they're completely getting it from the Proto-Evangelion of James, which has never been authorized as canon by any church, including the Catholics.
None of these councils or declarations make any reference to that. And
But
as I
that's
said,
where they get it, because that's the only place it exists.
well, maybe that's where they get it. I don't know.
It's 100% where they get
All I
it.
know is that it's a required doctrine that is
Fine.
is
So,
part of dogma,
so
which
what do
is
they do with
binding.
James?
What's that?
What do they do with James? Like, where does James?
James is an interesting question, and they're well aware of that issue.
Cousin. The word can be translated as or understood as cousin.
Yeah. So it
Or
says
friend,
Catholic
or anything.
So
but
James
that's
is a
not.
cousin.
The Catholic explanation is linguistic and cultural. The Greek word and the Semitic usage behind it covers a range of kinship, cousins, close relatives, clan members.
Yeah, so the Catholic argument
Okay,
is
so then
that,
they say James is not a brother. So according to the Catholic
Correct.
argument, that Joseph didn't want to have any children?
correct, Jesus was Mary's only child in Catholic
No,
understanding.
but what about
and-
Joseph? Did he ever have any more children?
No, they don't. Well, okay, so again, in the Proto-Evangelion of James, what it says is that Joseph was actually a generation older than Mary, and that he was her kinsman redeemer. So he married her because she was a priestess of the temple when she was in service of the Lord, right? And this is a Catholic belief about her. And they have all sorts of other beliefs about how early she spoke and miracles she did and sins she'd never committed and all of this, right? So in this document, it's described that she becomes pregnant with the Messiah, and Joseph is her kinsman redeemer, like Ruth and Boaz, meaning like he's a generation older and he saves her, and you know all
No,
that
that
stuff.
can't be though.
I agree.
No, I'll tell you why it can't be, but according to them, because a king's redeemer would mean that she was married and her husband died with no children.
I agree.
So then she's not a virgin.
This is no. So they don't think that she was married. They think that she was like 14. The reason she needed redemption was because she was pregnant.
I don't
But
think
that's not
that
how it
was
works.
church teaching.
I know. So
Wait,
the
who needed
idea.
redemption?
So when they use the phrase kinsman redeemer in the documents, right? They're not using it in the legal sense. They're saying that she was going to be thrown away. She had no future. So he comes along. Joseph has the opportunity to put her away quietly, meaning that she would have to go live her life, whatever she was doing. She was unclean now. She couldn't be in service to the temple, which is what she had trained for her whole life.
So
But instead,
what are we talking about?
What is
Mary.
Mary? What does it mean
Instead-
to be
Well,
in service to the
that's
temple?
not the position of the Catholic Church at all.
hold on. Hold on. So in the Proto-Evangelion of James, which is where all of this comes from about Mary's virginity and her role before the birth of Christ and all of that, this is what it states. And they will argue that the reason that it says there are 14 generations in one of the genealogies from whoever to Christ, there's 14 and there's actually 13 if you count them. And the Catholic Church will say the explanation for this is that Joseph is a generation ahead of her. He redeemed her from a lifetime of whatever it would have been from being pregnant out of wedlock. And then that begins their marriage. Now, because he redeemed her, it would have been improper for them to have any sexual contact or relationship. Therefore, she must have been a virgin forever.
None of that follows.
I don't know what we're talking about. The position of the Catholic Church is that the Virgin Mary was conceived without sin.
Yes.
So she never had original sin.
Correct.
And she was sinless her entire life.
Yes, that has nothing to do with anything I just said.
Yeah,
Well,
bro. The Catholic Church, bro.
She didn't get any redemption. I just.
Oh my
the
gosh,
concern-
okay. Let me say it
The concern I
again.
have is with the word redemption, I guess.
The way I'm using the word, okay, are you
let's
familiar
go
with
to a classic kinsman redemption. In the Hebrew word is yibum. A classic kinsman redemption is a guy is married to a woman.
Boaz and
he
Ruth.
dies. Well, Boaz and Ruth was not classic because they're not brothers. So let's go
He
to
had
the
to get
classic.
permission from the, I see.
from Ploniel money.
What's her name? The prostitute who tricked her father-in-law. Kitover to
lot, but that's
there
also
you go.
not proper. That's also not proper yibum. Proper yibum, the classic example is there are two brothers, A and B. A marries a woman, dies without children. B is now tied to that woman, which overrides the classic prohibition of marrying your brother's wife, and he must redeem her and give children in place of his brother. Now, either he could do that, or he can go through a ceremony of she removes his shoe and shows that, and it breaks the connection. But that's what a kinsman redeemer means. Like, he has to give her children in place. The two biblical stories, which are both atypical, is Boaz and Ruth. That's probably the most famous one, and the second one is Tamar and Judah. Tamar marries Judah. Oh, that's you mean the prostitute.
That's what I meant, the prostitute. Yes.
She poses as a prostitute. She's not a prostitute.
Yep. Well, she does sleep with her well, anyway, and she takes money for it.
She takes his staff and then gives it back and shows that it was him. But
Mary never becomes
Hold on,
Genesis
just a second.
38. This is Genesis.
It's around 38. Sounds late. Yeah, it's earlier than that because 38 is too far in.
But hold on, before we go down there, okay,
it's
so
smack in the
Mary.
middle of the Joseph story. It's like a break in the Joseph story.
Yeah, Joseph is 39.
Hold on. Okay, wait.
This is
So Mayor, you know how Catholics view Mary as the second Ark of the Covenant? Are you familiar with this?
No.
Okay, so they view her because she's a vessel that carried the Messiah. They see her as an echo of both Eve. She corrected what Eve did wrong, and she's a symbol of the Ark of the Covenant because she's carrying the Messiah, and so she takes on this role that has this way more than regular power. So is she the actual Ark? No, but they draw the parallel. So when I see doctors of the Catholic Church throughout history writing about the Redeemer aspect of Joseph and Mary out of the Proto-Evangelion, it's because they're using that same kind of echo. Mary could have been put away. Joseph, hold on, just let me finish with Mary real quick. Mary could have been put away, but Joseph, because he was a good and godly man, redeemed Mary. So it's this echo to a theme that had been running through the Old Testament, that God uses the youngest, the littlest, the weakest, and brings about salvation through this person and elevates them. So that's how Mary gets this status in Catholicism. Now, all that to say, the rest of the entirety of Christendom rejects this. But that's
none of that is possible under Catholicism. She never got pregnant by any man ever in her whole life.
Euro, hold on. Where do you hear me say? Okay.
No,
well, that's why I don't know what this kinship redeemership you're talking about.
Okay,
she was never pregnant.
Right, we went through this already. She's being redeemed from having a baby out of wedlock. The problem with that argument is there is nothing to redeem from. Having a baby out of wedlock doesn't forbid you from anything.
I agree, but that's why they'll argue. Hold on just a second.
She was
pregnant. Say
she said it was God. Joseph, I guess, believed her, and I don't know, but that's the baby out of wedlock.
Okay, so do you guys remember in the Gospels when he says Joseph resolved to put her away quietly?
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
Okay, this is a concept.
I'm gonna get a call in a minute. What does it mean to be in service of the? What did you say she was in service of? What?
And this is what the Proto-Evangelion says: is that she was in service of the temple, so she's a temple maiden. I don't know. I'm not Catholic. I have no idea.
There is no concept of someone being... The only story in all of Tanakh of a woman being in service of something, possibly, is the judge, when he came home from battle, he said, the first thing I see, I will sacrifice to the Lord. And that was sinful that he did that. He saw his daughter, and then the girl's quiet for a bit. Now, it's possible he actually sacrificed her, which would have been a sin, or she lived like a life in like solitude. Because it's not really clear what happens there. But there's no such concept. And that was sin. That was a sin.
Here's what it is.
They should have done that.
In the Proto-Evangelium of James, a temple maiden refers to the Virgin Mary's role as a consecrated child living within the Holy of Holies, dedicated to God's service, fed by angels, and set apart from the ritual impurity of the world. I will stress again that only Catholics believe this is a thing.
Nothing in that is in Scripture.
No, we don't. I was never taught the Proto-Evangelium. I'm reading here what the discrepancy is. The word until. She remained a virgin until after the birth. And the Catholic's interpretation of that is until does not always imply a change afterwards. For example, in Samuel 6:23 says Michal had no children until her death, meaning never.
Yeah, okay, so hold on. That's a separate.
And we don't use, I don't think we use the proto-evangelium.
Hold on,
I have
okay.
never been
Catholic theology is very explicit that
The word
Joseph
until is
is not a
separate.
Levirate husband.
What?
Okay, hold on.
Let's hear Euro. What did you say?
I said the Catholic
gosh.
theology is explicit that Joseph is not a Levirate husband.
Okay,
He did not
so
marry.
what I'm trying to say here is that when Euro cites the two councils that he did, that he's citing them as an authority. So he's saying, we know Mary was a perpetual virgin because of these two councils. My response to him was, the source that the councils are pulling is the Proto-Evangelion of James.
Are they quoted?
Okay?
Is it quoted
Oh
in
my
those
gosh.
councils? No, excuse me. Is it quoted?
The first council says.
I feel like I'm trying really hard to just get through one single thought.
No. If you're assuming that that's the source.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Is it referred to in the councils?
This document, which was widely circulated in the first 200 years, holds a lot of the doctrine around Mary that exists nowhere else. So it's like saying, hold on, let me get through it. Hold on.
It wasn't part of the canon.
Dude, I can't, Michaela, hold on. Okay. First of all, the Catholics don't believe in a close of canon, so we've got an issue there with you using that word that way. What I mean is, if in 2025, okay, I tweet something and I say I went to Walmart, okay, there aren't multiple the implication is that Walmart exists, right? Everybody knows what Walmart is. 1,000 years from now, they're going to be arguing about whether Walmart existed based on my tweet. So in the councils, when they say that Mary had this role and was a perpetual virgin, the source of that is the Proto-Evangelium of James. This isn't like, okay, it's not a book that's in the Bible. It's not a book that's canonized. It's a document that so heavily influenced early church thought that it wound up in the councils. So you will not see Marian doctrine outside of this document and prior to the councils. That's my whole argument. There's nothing else. Like, that's where it comes from.
You're assuming that.
I'm not even saying it's wrong, Michaela. I'm telling you that is where it comes from.
Well, I disagree.
You can't disagree. That's the fact. Okay.
Yeah, can I say, was it quoted? Was it quoted in the part of the canon? Were they referring to that as the source, the scriptural source of their teaching?
Okay, Michaela. Again, if I make a tweet referring to Walmart, I'm not going to cite Sam Walton because everyone knows what Walmart is. What I'm telling you is that when we look at history and when we look at the early saints and their writings, what they quote, how they quote it, where it appears, the year that it came from, the city that it came from, and in the councils that, like, church history is very clear on this, right? So I'm not telling you it's satanic. I'm not telling you it's wrong. I'm not telling you it's untrue. I'm telling you the Catholic belief around Mary is sprouting from this very, very early document attributed to James. That's the only thing I'm saying.
Translation of that word, the understanding of that word until.
No, that's a totally separate topic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so,
Yes.
I mean, I asked GPT and it says it's impossible that it could have been based on the Proto-Evangelium of James, and no council would ever use that as a basis because it's considered apocryphal and therefore has no doctrinal
Oh my gosh, Euro, you know the Catholic Church holds to the Apocrypha, right? Why? Okay, I don't argue with ChatGPT, but I'm going to entertain this for a second. If ChatGPT is telling you that the Catholic Church would reject something apocryphal, every Catholic on earth is going to tell you that's wrong.
Well, it's saying that this
I don't argue with ChatGPT. You're going to have to take that up with someone else.
Council. Well, I mean, I just don't see anything that points
what
to
you
this
just read was utterly fallacious and ridiculous. So maybe ChatGPT would try again because
it seems like if the council was going to base it on this doctrine, it would say so, right?
You just said that your ChatGPT robot told you that Catholics reject the Apocrypha. You're going to have to pardon me if I tuned out everything you said after that.
It says they don't base their teachings on the Proto-Evangelium because it's apocryphal.
Okay, so that is a completely fallacious and untrue thing that ChatGPT said.
different books. The extra books.
Okay, I feel
It's not the
like
same
everyone in this room is not okay. Michaela,
I don't know
When
of any
he just
Catholic
argued-
dogmas that are based on Apocrypha, but maybe you do.
when you guys are arguing, okay, when ChatGPT is arguing that the Catholic Church would reject something because it's apocryphal, that would also mean that the Catholic Church would universally reject the Deuterocanon, which it doesn't. So I don't know
because
what I'm.
the church doesn't. Oh God.
You're mixing up the word is being used in two different.
Yeah, the Apocrypha and
Yeah,
Deuterocanon
they're
are the
using
same.
in different contexts.
Yeah. Using
Hey,
different
look.
words for apocryphal.
I'm listening to all this about Mary, and I'm just saying, like, when Mary went up to Jesus and tried to tell Jesus about the wine running out, and Jesus told her, "Woman, what you got to do with me?"
That's because he meant the second Eve. They have a whole argument about her being the second Eve, and when he referred to her as woman, he was calling her Eve, the mother of all mankind. They thought of that one already.
Hey Seb, I got a question to Michaela here, because I know, Michaela, you're very Catholic. When you say apocryphal, then what do you mean by that? Because it seems like you're saying there's a distinction between the apocrypha and the apocryphal.
Well, maybe that I understood it as meaning maybe what are those books the books that we rejected, the books that help me here, Euro.
Like what? So give an example then.
Like I'm trying to think of the name, the
Are you thinking of like the pseudepigraphal Gospels?
No, what is, I'm sorry, I'm trying, it's those, what is that class of books? They had the childhoods of Jesus and all that.
The Gnostic Gospels?
What Gnostic, right?
Okay, wait, what? No, she's not, hold on.
Gnostic.
She's not talking about the Deuterocanon,
Not
she's
Gnostic.
talking about the Gnostic Gospels.
So what did you mean by apocryphal, Euro? I understood it more in that sense. Euro, what did you mean by apocryphal?
It doesn't. You took it from an AI.
It's books that weren't considered. It's extra books. There was a lot of books written around that time, and the church selected which ones that were going to be part of the New Testament, and that one was not. And so he calls it apocryphal. Then the Catholics had 4 extra books that were written between in Greek. I'm not really good at this, but they were written after I think Jewish canon was closed or something, and we included them in the Protestants don't. But I think we're referring to one of those books, this one of James, that it just wasn't included in the canon.
Right, but neither was Tobit or Maccabees or Wisdom. So that's why whatever ChatGPT just told you. Okay, look.
Yeah.
So the Catholics don't see a close of canon the same way the Protestants do, right? So we think that at the Book of Revelation, that when John finished penning that, and when Paul had finished his epistles that were found and preserved, that's it. And we believe that because Scripture says nothing more will be added or taken away or altered, that's the end of it. The apostolic, the Catholic, and the Orthodox belief is that things could still be divinely inspired. So a saint who was martyred, who was writing in 300, who was writing about doctrine, or a pope speaking ex cathedra, which happens very rarely, can also become part of what they would consider like a secondary canon. Right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge division between Catholics and Protestants.
Yeah, and can you give me the Catholic argument for including those extra books?
Which ones? The Deuterocanon?
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know the words.
Tobit, Maccabees, Wisdom, Judas.
Yes, right. Is
Okay,
that considered the Apocrypha?
So those are the books that are in the intertestamental period, right? So that's between the Old Testament and the New Testament. Okay,
and
so
why
we're not.
do Catholics include them? What's their argument?
Yep. So we're not talking about anything after the birth of Christ. We're talking about during the 400 years of
Right.
Those books, which are called the Deuterocanon, and we use the word apocrypha, but that's not the right word. The Catholic Church has called that the Deuterocanon. Okay.
Right.
The Deuterocanon is included because it's important history. It fills in a lot of blanks, and also Christ cites them. So Christ actually.
Like, really? How many misinformation things are you going to stand up on this stage and bloviate about? Like, you're crazy if you think that he did not make an impact in that election and voters between the ages of 18 and 29.
I think most people agree with that. Even Democrats will agree with his influence.
Big fan, butt naked. I was like, I needed something, you know.
Mm-hmm. Good for you. Did you talk to the doctor about it?
Oh yeah, she said it's
right? Like, and I'm no fan of Trump, but there is like this is every man's man, even though he's a billionaire. I don't know how they do that, but it's like, you kind of heard that term, demagogue? Yeah. I'm familiar with the term demagogues. I hear that term, and I never know what it means.
It means what it sounds like.
Yeah, I hear it, but it's like, I never. I always
If you had to guess, you guessed correctly.
I always think they're saying demigod, right?
That's why if you had a guess, you'd get it correct.
Yeah, but Trump, I think he's the greatest politician of all time. Not a president, but just to be.
What?
And I'm gonna tell you why. To be able to go, like what Benjamin said, to go through all these debates, having Link, is that what you're telling me?
You know what? In fact, everybody, let's have a funeral for the Link.
that link is officially retired. I'm done.
Thank you. That Link is that one is yes. Some of your white brethren, although we know you're a Latino, but some of your white brethren say crazy things. Yes, we know. We don't care about this one person. He doesn't even work at NYU anymore. Plus, NYU is a shithole. So who cares what they do? It's a shitty institution.
Somebody clarify
Shitty education.
what progressive, like, are we talking about progressive on the left? Are we talking about progressive on the right?
There's only progressive on the left. He's talking about.
It's only progressive on the left.
Yeah, he's talking about the people he made up in his head.
She's been with the city of Rockford.
Ain't nobody else talking about that video today. He made that shit up.
Our budget and
He made great off.
That being said, y'all making my conspiracy theory bag? Fuck it. Let's do it. Mom Dami sympathized with the boy because the boy's Indian. Y'all not ready for that discussion. I'm done speaking.
Or isn't that he just politely was just saying, I feel sorry for the boy?
Okay. You know, when I played trumpet in school growing up, that is very hard to play. It sounds easy. That is very hard to play.
Yeah. Gotta
Especially
pucker up
beautiful like that. Oh yeah, and to stay in tune too. That is very hard to hit the right notes. It is very hard to play.
Yep.
That version he got was quite nice. That was actually very nice.
That was beautiful. It was real sharp. It was like you hit it. You know that person practiced that for quite some time. I used to play the flute. So
The flute is easy to stay in tune. I mean, there's no real embouchure.
I wouldn't say
embouchure. That's easy to stay in tune.
No, not when you hit those high notes. I'm not comparing it to the trumpet, sir. How you gonna compare it to the trumpet when that wasn't the reason why I brought up that I played the flute? I was just saying I was in the winds. What's going on?
But I want to compare them. I'm not doing it.
I don't want you to compare them.
I think the flute, like the clarinet, were for girls. And the reason why is because boys are better than girls at instruments. So they gave you remedial instruments.
Dan, if you want to traumatize yourself, wait and listen to the trumpet being played by, let's say, any unit of the Nigerian army when they're having like the guard of honor. You're gonna die laughing. So like, when one of their leaders comes by and he's getting a guard of honor, they play it in the background.
Yeah, I've heard.
It's the funniest thing ever.
Not only have I heard that, I've actually heard Nigerian opera companies in Nigeria, and let me tell you, me and First Lady singing are better than some of that shit. So it's pretty bad. But Nigerian music in Nigeria like that is sort of like Nigerian food. They all think it's good because they don't know any better.
Yep.
Right, let's get back to the topic. I believe that Mondami is using this as a distraction, so we all don't think that and talk about how Jeffrey Epstein is his daddy. Done speaking?
Oh, what?
Yes. You don't know about that?
Wait a minute. What happened?
His mama is in Epstein's files.
His mom was married to somebody named Epstein.
Ooh.
They got Mira Nair is the Hanmandani's mother. She's the very famous director. She directed Mississippi Masala. She directed I think Monsoon Wedding. She directed Vanity Fair with Kirsten Dunst. Let me do a side note on that. That is a brilliant novel. I was stunned how bad the film was. Those big Victorian novels, Thackeray, White, Dickens and stuff, that's just, I mean, obviously George Eliot is absolutely stunning. The British can write a fucking novel. All the way through Graham Greene. It's just that they can really, Comrades, it's test over this, is fantastic. Hardy, etc. Henry James, although Henry James is American, but he calls himself British. That's the discussion. Let me just continue. She was married to him, and about a year and a half later, Zohan Mamdani was born. Just leave it right there.
For someone who doesn't live on Twitter, you you do get a lot of news.
Alan said something backfired.
Wait a minute. Alan who?
I don't know.
I see. An email said Trump was an FBI informant, but was not a participant at backfire.
Yeah, I'd like to see that email. People, what I hate about, I mean, the elections are over. Can we just, man, how did it backfire? There's a bunch of people going around saying, oh yeah, Trump's not involved in Epstein files. It backfired so much that when you ask people in the administration, they move on. Did you see they asked his wife yesterday? She was doing a Israeli hostage event. Melania.
What?
They asked about the Epstein files.
Oh Lord.
She had at the press conference. She had a thing for some Israeli hostages, and when they asked her about it, it was crickets.
That's the one where they asked her, does she think it's okay for her to use the White House to promote her book? And she said it's not a promotion. I saw a clip.
I'm going to say something. Just because individuals don't know something doesn't mean the thing that they don't know didn't exist. Movement that does not know the white ladies who were freedom riders. I listened to that whole conversation yesterday. Not one person brought up the Freedom Riders. It is insane to me that people think because they don't know a thing and someone else on Clubhouse doesn't know a thing, that thing did not exist. I was stunned in that moment. And I was particularly stunned because there are the lady's name, Joan Mulholland, how she runs up Mulholland, very famous white lady from the Civil Rights. Her name didn't come up one time.
Did anybody Google it or did they try?
Well, I didn't want to go there.
Okay.
Because there was a Googling, and the Googling had somebody reading black people's names.
You talking about Big E's room? Was that Big E?
You were the one that did the Googling, yes, sir.
No, that was what AI came up with, and I was saying how ironic. That's what AI came up with. I didn't imply that no white women helped during the civil rights movement. That wasn't it.
And
So
what would be
why
ironic
do you
about
speak?
it?
No, but why do you speak in the room? Like, why are you speaking about it now?
Because I was at work.
Oh, okay.
So some of us are at
But
work.
so
Some of us are at
nobody
work.
assumed that. But yeah, but you're saying something. Nobody assumed that. No,
That's exactly what he
nobody
assumed.
No, I don't know what anybody assumed. I
So
don't.
then how do you say nobody assumed that?
So
what
what
happened
assume,
was...
because you said that. No, you said that. You
I know.
made this implication.
I was there the whole time.
No, you made an implication that somebody didn't know. Because somebody didn't know, it didn't happen. Nobody said anything like that.
Actually, how it happened was, why you cut me off? Actually, what happened was, he said name 5 white women who were involved in the civil rights movement, and nobody could name one, and you all took that as evidence that white women did not participate in any significant way in the civil rights movement. Then you went to AI, and because they named black names, you were arguing, see, even AI can't get any. I was there the whole time.
I thought
That's exactly what happened.
Because for a fact, we know that there were more than that. What the point is that whether you did an AI or a Google, it didn't bring it up. That was the irony.
Of course it brings it up.
That's all
Just
it
Google
was.
it. Of course it brings it up.
That's all it was. There was no long elaborate. I wasn't even in the conversation like that. I just did a quick search when he asked the question. That was it. So, like I said, in the future, you should just really either come on stage and speak or whatever. But like, come on, man, come in. Quarterback it. Like,
So I'm not
man.
Monday morning quarterbacking.
Yes, you are. Yes,
I
you
couldn't
are.
speak, so I'm seeing you now.
So then why speak now? So then it's
Because I'm seeing you now. Because I want to say it now.
We're not there now.
Why
We're not there
cutting me
now.
off? Okay, I got it. You just said if I Google white women in the civil rights movement, I'll get black people. Let's do it in real time.
I told you what AI
just
showed
said
at that point. No, I said when I did the search, that's what AI
just
showed.
said
I read
that.
down the list. That's all. That's all I did.
All right.
Yeah, that's all I did.
Yeah, I got you. Gotcha.
I'm sure you do a further. I just did a quick
Gotcha.
search. That was
Right
it.
there.
That was
Gotcha. Gotcha. I got you. I got you. There were white women, there were white men, there were black people, there were black men, black women.
So the link that I posted.
Hold on a second, Snoopy.
The point that I was making is that search rendered. I didn't think it rendered a valid search. That was the point.
So your point in the discussion about civil rights and white people, you were making a point about AI technology?
I didn't make.
How was that germane?
Somebody, Big E. Let's put a name on it. Big E asked the question, and all I did is plug the question in. That's it. That's all I did, and I read what it gave back. That was it. If you notice, I didn't contribute anything else to the conversation outside of that. That was it. So I didn't spend an exorbitant. Hold on.
I didn't say you spent an exorbitant amount of time.
Okay, so that was it. But like now you want to come on, man.
Right. So my point is just because you Google something and you don't know how to Google or prompt AI,
I know how
doesn't mean
to
the
prompt.
thing.
First of all, don't say what I don't know how to do.
Clearly, you don't.
No. You don't know what I know.
Sir,
I
if
don't
you
know
got
what
the
you
Grimke,
know.
sir.
I don't know what you know.
Sir.
How can you tell a person like what their knowledge base is and so on and so forth? Come on, man. Like, come
Sir.
on, knock it off. Knock it off, man. Come on, like, really.
Sir.
I'm not even having this conversation
All right,
because
get up, bro.
it's a dumb conversation. Like,
Well,
why
I
am
want to
I
have
having
the conversation because I want to, because I'm about to say something. So, if you knew how, so when you started reading, I know it's tough. When you started reading, you said Grimke. You were talking about Grimke. First of all, you're not pronouncing it correctly. They were Grimke. They were in the 19th century. So clearly, if we're talking about the civil rights movements of the 1950s and 60s, and you're reading people from the 1850s, 1870s, and 1910s, that means you don't know how to prompt.
All right, so let's do this, right? I wasn't in Chat GPT. I just put it in the browser. Sometimes the browser will bring up several selections, right? It'll give you feedback, and then you can press on AI, and you can go in a little further. That's all I did, plain and simple.
Yeah, prompting AI is just...
I mean, like, yeah, I didn't even go get all. It wasn't even that deep. It really wasn't that deep.
Nothing's deep.
So,
but my larger point was
some things are deep. Some things are deep. In that moment, in the context of what, in the context of that right there, you should comment on the other parts of the conversations that were being had. But for some reason, you want to zero in. You want to zero in on the 25 seconds of when I did a search. What about the rest of the conversation? Can you elaborate on that? Are there some other points and the other?
Yeah, the larger point was, the larger point is just because I don't know something. So if someone asked me, who was the physicist who did X, Y, and Z in Prussia? And I go, well, I can't name anybody. I don't assume that there wasn't one. That's the large.
I agree with that. Who wouldn't agree?
Well, that was the point I was making. And then First Lady asked me, and I explained that. But the point is the Grimkes, not the Grimkees. The Grimkees were not in
what was
the
it?
20th
G-R-I? I don't even remember the spelling, so I had never encountered the word. I pronounced it as best I could. That was it. It wasn't a deep, like, perhaps you should have engaged with Big E.
Perhaps I was at my job.
Okay, you said that. So, I mean, we can ping him in here and he can elaborate and speak on it further.
I don't need to elaborate. The point is that just because we don't know something doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
We all know that.
No, we don't know.
I agree. I agree with you on that.
We don't, because people were saying yesterday that white women weren't involved in the civil rights movement because they couldn't name anybody.
Yeah, the people, I don't know why people would think that, but that's what was being said.
Incredible.
So,
How was your day, Bethany?
it was busy. Super busy.
Let me say something first. Let me say this. I actually, hey, what's up, King Nep? I actually agree with what Sinette said in the chat. I think they're being modeled to give less and less correct information. That's my conspiracy theory. I agree.
I think
this AI overview is literally killing people's brains.
There are studies that are saying that. There are studies that are saying that it is hurting.
You read the AI overview yesterday.
Sir, I know AI extremely well. Now that I do. I know about AI. Yes, I do. So the point is this, right? I, in my opinion, from what I see, people are relying on AI and they don't have the subject matter experts to really synthesize the feedback that they get from it. Right? And there are many studies out there. I'm studying the AI bubble, right? Different aspects of what I and some others believe is happening. An AI bubble is being created. And so I've been learning a lot, like what that would look like and what the negative aspects of AI are and how it's affecting people in real life and businesses and so on and so forth, right? So with that search yesterday, that was just some humble shit, man. It wasn't even that deep. It was just like, I mean, it was, come on. How can I do a search like that and it comes up with black names? That, like, something is wrong. Something is wrong. It was not an accurate feedback that we got at all.
It was accurate. What do you mean? The Group K sisters were white.
Well, it only
was accurate.
On that list, it included black people as well on that list. And I'm going to check my browser to see if I still have this.
Okay. Well, anyway, this I don't know, man. Black people just think they know black stuff because they're black. Black people don't think they need to do any reading or study. They think by virtue of being black, they know black history. The amount of misinformation is insane. But anyway, that was the point.
Are you open to an alternate explanation, Dan? Because there's another
For what?
possibility.
About black history?
No. As to why is it that the role of non-black people in the civil rights movement, the freedom riders, why is it that the younger generation wants to bury it and hide it? And I think you should open your mind.
No. They weren't young. They're old.
Okay.
They're older than me. These are people who are 10, 15, 20 years older than me that were speaking. It's not that they don't know the white ones, Snoopy. They don't know any of them except the big names.
Okay, well, let me give an explanation, and then I urge you to criticize.
These people don't know that. Let me ask you, Snoop. Who were the Freedom Riders?
The Freedom Riders, many of them were young white people. They took the bus down. 2 of them were murdered. 2 of the white ones were murdered. The murdered ones were honored by a multiracial coalition. And in fact, Jacobin magazine, my favorite magazine, writes about them all the time because Jacobin is trying to build a multiracial, multi-ethnic, progressive movement. And that's what I was about to address, right?
So, 1 second, Snoopy, calm down. Nobody wants to hear your monologue. And so what you just said, most people on the app don't know that, regardless of age.
I agree with you, but I'm trying to make a very narrow point, which is...
Go ahead, Snoopy, make a point.
I'm making a very narrow point. You are a fair-minded, ethical person.
Please don't speak on me personally.
Okay, I'm not speaking to you. What I'm simply saying is many of the progressives on this app are accelerationists. They want to see a race war. They want to gin up racial hatred. So that's the reason why you go in most rooms and they say, all white people oppressed us. There was not a single white person that helped in civil rights. And for example, in the South African rooms, they say every single white person was in favor of apartheid. It justifies killing all the whites.
Where's South African rooms? Where can I find South African rooms?
I'll send you links in a minute. I'm about to let my plane, okay?
But before you keep going, none of the people in the room were progressive.
Okay, well, just allow me to finish, and then you can correct me, okay? What I am representing is there are plenty of people on Clubhouse that want a bloody race war, and they slander other races. That's all I'm saying. And I think that feeds into what you're
repeating yourself. Come on, nobody
I like this.
Okay.
Yeah, this is more accurate.
People were white.
Yeah, what I'm looking at right now is better, right? So it says it was named five white women, which was the question that was asked. Name 5 white women who helped civil rights. This makes sense. What I'm looking at. It's Virginia Durr, who else? Joan Trempour, Mary White Ovington, Casey Hayden. Yeah, that's right there. This was
that your prompt yesterday? Was that your prompt yesterday?
You know what? I guess it wasn't this prompt, but
that's actually not a good prompt for what he was asking you, because he didn't ask for white women that helped civil rights. He asked for white women who were in the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s. Civil rights didn't just start in 1950. That's why it's a bad prompt, because that's why you would get the Grimke sisters. You could also get somebody like Lydia Marie Child. You could also get somebody like Harriet Beecher Stowe. You could also get somebody like Mary Wollstonecraft. You could also get somebody like the Duchess of Huntington. You could also get somebody like, it goes on and on, Sarah Pogson. Those people were in the early 19th century. That's not a good prompt.
This prompt I just put in said, name 5 white women who helped civil rights. That was the prompt, and that's the feedback that I got. And that's the feedback, so there we go.
So the lesson is, just because we don't know something doesn't mean that something doesn't exist. That's what I learned yesterday, first place, to answer the question. also learned that in Black History Month, Black people need to stop acting like by virtue of being Black, they know Black history. That arrogance is insane. All right, I'm done. I will say, real quick, my favorite moment yesterday in the room was when somebody said, John Brown, I can't.
Yeah, I did hear that.
That took me out. I've never.
I was in and out of the room. I did hear that.
That was a fascinating take. That to me was fascinating. The person said John Brown had ulterior motives, as if those would matter. I don't want to be free because the person freeing me, trying to free me, has ulterior motives. So don't free me unless that's the only people. I mean, that's kind of silly. But the person never named what the ulterior motives was. I'm telling you, man, this app is. But Concrete's here, and you get CEO. They can talk about finance, monetary policy, and Bitcoin. I want all the Bitcoin people to come in because I was told with Trump, we had to get Trump for Bitcoin. And I see that since Trump has been in, it's down almost 40%. So let's get the Bitcoin maxis up so me and Concrete can tell them, we told you so. We're done speaking.
Who are Bitcoin enthusiasts that are in here?
I don't Bitcoin talk. These no.
I know, I agree. I'll never discuss Bitcoin.
I've never heard that in my life from anybody, let alone a Black person. Oh, John Brown. He had ulterior motives. Fuck him. It was deep and orotund. It was stentorian. Almost lugubrious. Oh, John Brown. So, oh my God. I never heard that before.
And why did they say
that? Was crazy.
But why did they say that? Because I came in the room and I heard it.
I don't know. I've never heard anybody say it. By the time I picked my jaw off the ground, I think they had moved on. I don't know why they said it. I've never heard it. To Concrete in chat, we gave the good argument against Bitcoin. Now it's about the ass time. It's about the ass time. It's about the ass time. Bitcoin's going to be a hedge against the market.
But it doesn't have it ebb and flows. Doesn't it go up and down and around?
No, they said it will always go up. And this was another reason why you had to elect Trump. This was one of the main arguments for Trump. Yeah. Was he was going to be the pro-Bitcoin guy. Do you know that shit is down to, what is it, 60?
Kobe, why are you trying to come up with all your different characters?
I'm like 60K right now. 62, 63, something like that. I think it peaked over 100K. I think it was over 100K at one point. It's down almost 40% since he took office.
Damn.
You talk about losing your shirt. People have lost shirts. They took their shirt and took their hat. They left it all on the sunny side of the street.
I mean, but some people say, but it sounds like the people that are still in it said they don't really need the money anyway. They got money.
That's what we always say when we lose money. You know, I think when I went to the casino and lose $200,000, I said,
man, why you like that?
I didn't need my retirement. I took $200,000 out of my retirement. I didn't really need that. So they always say when you lose. All the time. But you always say when you lose. I didn't need that $50. You sitting at home in the corner, crawled up, crying, eating some onion soup mixed in hot water. Well, baby, we gonna have some onion soup. But mommy, we don't have no onions. I got some Lipton onion soup mix and some hot water. That's what we gonna have. Okay. Yeah, that's where these people are. Have you noticed that, First Lady? I know you don't really get into that, but have you noticed how people aren't really talking about Bitcoin like you used to hear it all the time 1 year, 2 years ago? It was all the time. Bitcoin. Don't nobody talk about it. It's like Gaza. Don't nobody talk about it.
Hold on. My theory is that people who are into Bitcoin and crypto that contingent have moved over to the prediction markets and Polymark and Calcium sports betting.
Oh. So your small Bitcoin players are now betting on random Texas Senate district races on Poly and oh, interesting. Interesting.
Remember NFTs? That whole wave, you don't hear about that anymore.
Well, child, doctor, I don't know. It just went quiet. Yeah, so the crypto. I thought Trump was supposed.
At the moment of the consecration, there's a sacramental union between sign and thing signified, and that those who.
When you first meet strong women, and then eventually you learn.
But again, you're calling yourself a strong woman. I didn't even have an opinion on you. I don't
But
even.
you were very aggressive for
woman.
someone who had no opinion. You were extremely opinionated for someone who'd never met me before. You came at me for no reason.
I don't even remember.
How do you know it was for no reason?
The first time.
I just never met her before. This random person suddenly is piling on with all the blowhard morons on this.
Maybe she listened to what you were saying.
I was off for 2 months, and when I came back, everybody was riled up by someone that apparently came in, and everybody was insulting and whatever. I'm like, okay, so who is this person? And then you came in the room, and I wanted to hear what you gotta say, but everyone was so riled up, and you started insulting everyone. And I was like, okay, well, this is clearly not a woman in control of herself because she feels the need to insult everyone.
That's not how I remember what happened at all. I just remember you piling on with all the fucking douchebag frat boy morons with 2 brain cells. I didn't understand what you were trying to do, trying to make them sound intelligent or something.
Hey, none of those guys are frat boys. Take that back.
I know none of them have been to college, let's be real.
That's probably also true. So, let's not besmirch the good name of frat boys.
Let's not shit on the frat boys here,
Some of them like that.
That's hilarious.
It's all good. Listen, I'm just I don't know. There's no point in rehashing. I see
I'm not rehashing.
I think maybe it's not a pattern. Maybe it's just me and Emrose had the same reaction to you at the beginning, and maybe you'll eventually be best friends.
I doubt it, but
I don't see that. No offense.
But listen,
you're coming off with a lot of micro identities. You're classifying so much. It's like you're giving a pet, but then your backhanded slap. It's which is it? You don't like her, or you don't fucking like her. Issa doesn't give a shit whether you're a man or a woman. She'll stand on her principles, and if that makes her a strong person, then great. Does it make her a strong woman? I don't know. I know a lot of women who don't talk a lot and stand on their principles.
And I've had many let's crucify Isa rooms, where people comment, they're like, oh, because you are like this, or you allow this, or you allow that. I'm like, okay, I understand that I'm not gonna be liked by everyone, and this is a price I'm willing to pay. If there are quote unquote friends that are going to stop talking to me because of the things I say or how I behave or the people I know in my stages or what I do. Well, so be it. I don't try to control anyone. And whoever wants to be around me is welcome to. And whoever wants to press the mute button can do so as well. I really cannot force people. And I don't go to the lengths of manipulating people either. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, fine. I can't force you. And that is my attitude towards every single person. And maybe that is the reason why people know where I stand and I am straightforward, and why people feel like they know what they're going to get with me. I don't know. But... And I don't care if you're strong, if you're not strong. If I like you, I like you. And if you like me, that's cool. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying, Buttercup.
suffering you're gonna go through. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, please don't go into a mind conflict, my struggle right now.
Would you like to add some chocolate to that milk and make it a chocolate?
I'm going through all my cabinets so I can get this.
Honestly, it wasn't the fridge. I'm sorry if I'm making a little noise.
No, it's okay.
Is it whole milk or 2%?
Hold on, she's getting to the cow.
Semi-skimmed.
She's got to knock the cow out before she milks it.
Semi-skimmed because it's supermarket milk.
So I guess you won't be milking a cow today then.
No, but I usually go weekends to the farm that is behind my apartment, and I go get raw milk, and I love it. That's really nice. Oh, but a cup left.
Good riddance.
Thanks for all the hearts, Brad.
I think the problem is the lack of self-awareness with the quote-unquote strong women who you quote-unquote clash with.
I agree.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like, being a strong, in my opinion, like, listen, I don't need to show my strength, by, like, putting someone down or whatever. Like, if anything, what I struggle with or where I try to get stronger is in, like, not reacting to provocations of people. And this is the reason why I try to, like, stay calm, I mean, it's different when I'm in a room and maybe we're having a discussion. It's like, oh yeah, and you yell here and there. But if somebody is attacking you, it's like, yeah, why would I attack you back? Like, that would mean just that I am insecure, and that I care about what you gotta say about me.
It's like go ahead, Chris.
I like how you are. You go and argue with the point going on and the facts and the figures. And it is funny how it's not just women who try to get your goad when it comes to like a personal investment. Like they try to make you have a personal investment. They insult you. They try to get you to get on their level and it becomes personal. And you're like, I don't give a shit about you. I'm talking about the point. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you. This is exactly what happened today with Emerald when she started insulting me. We were talking about the whole Israeli stuff and whatever, and she started kind of like putting in a pedestal, the Palestinians and da-da-da. And so I said, well, do you know why is it that you are able to say these type of things? And I said, it's because you have a badass military behind you and because you have a country that is protecting your rights to say these things, especially as a woman. She went crazy. And she started yelling at me that I was a sharmuta and that maybe the reason why I was getting in these conversations is just to gain attention because nobody wants to hang out with me, and that maybe this is the first time that I have another woman that is actually presenting a challenge to me and that presenting an alternative for other people to like her instead of me. And she brought this so many times, like I am a better woman than you and I am and I was like, okay. I just stayed quiet and I let her get it all out. And I was like, okay, now let me continue the point because I don't care if you were trying to compete with me, we were talking about something else. And yeah, she got very upset. But she made it about competition. So
hey, what I know about you is
just let me say this. What this tells me is that what is in her head is I am competing with Isa for either attention or likeness or showing that I am a better woman. But that is what's going on in her head. I wasn't even thinking about that. We were talking about a topic.
Yeah, Yeah. What I know is one thing that you wouldn't do is, say a bunch of shit, then run away in the middle, and then sit in the bottom anonymous to try to hear what the other person says about you. You don't give a fuck what anyone's gonna say about you.
Jack, what was caught?
Like you really don't care. Like you're just doing your thing.
I know that this is what people say, you know?
Anonymously listening, hoping someone's gonna say something about you because you're hoping you'll be relevant. Like that's just not how you spend your time. Also, not how I spend my time. So I get you. You are making chocolate milk.
The only thing that I don't do, that Issa does, is she gets the milk aggressively.
With honey, so that I can fall asleep.
Well, that's a good idea. Did you heat it up first, though?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's warm milk with honey. Oh, I'm addicted to this, and I shouldn't be drinking this much milk.
No, you shouldn't be.
Mm-mm.
You're gonna get fluffy.
Yeah, this is the reason why I'm fluffy.
Bitch, you ain't fluffy. You a fatty.
Like, like these things I don't do. And I hear comments all the time, and about these specific thing about like, oh, Issa thinks she's hotter than me. I'm hotter than Issa. And like, okay, be hotter than me. I don't give a shit. Like, what is this? Like, is it like a zero-sum game that if you're hotter than me, then I will not get anybody? It's like, no. So I don't care. These type of competitions are ridiculous, And these, I don't care if people call me a misogynist or whatever, but these things happen because of women. It's the reason why.
I also don't like working with women.
That doesn't mean that
Very unsafe. I feel very unsafe around women, Issa.
That doesn't mean that I don't have women around me. Like my best friends are all women. Like I have 4 best friends and they're women. But yeah, and when I get along, it's difficult for me in general, in real life as well, to get along with women. But if I get along with a woman, it's gonna be a very strong relationship.
Issa, what's it like to respect a woman?
It's complicated, Jeff.
Okay. Maybe one day I'll experience that.
Oh my god, this was amazing.
I hear that all the time. Hey, Joe.
That's what she said.
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Apparently amazing.
Well, you don't know how to respect women, but you can work on it.
I didn't say I don't know how to respect women. I just wondered what it felt like to respect women.
Oh, aren't they like 2 sides of the same coin?
I mean, maybe.
Okay. And I'm learning from Issa that it's really hard to be beautiful.
I mean, I could have told you that, Joe.
What do you mean hard to be beautiful?
There's so many complications to it, so many consequences, it sounds like.
No.
And so much competition.
I mean, why do you think
No, I am not. That's the thing. I'm not competing with anyone. I don't do that. Some people might want to compete, but they're doing it themselves. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
He's one of yours.
Yeah, he's one of mine. Hey, makes that no good room.
Isa, you're not Jewish?
No, no.
Oh.
I'm Catholic.
Well, so am I.
No good rooms, much that.
Joe, she's one of the good ones.
She's one of the good Catholics?
Yeah, one of the good Catholics.
Oh, good. So I'm one of the good Catholics. I don't go to church, but I'm one of the good Catholics, and I went to Catholic school.
No, I didn't go to Catholic school. My sisters did.
Are you Roman Catholic?
Yeah.
Eastern Rite or Roman Rite or Latin Rite?
Eh?
Like,
Latin.
well...
She's a literal Latina.
Oh, okay, very good.
Well, last weekend was the first time that I heard Mass in German. It was interesting.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
Have you ever been to an actual Latin Mass?
I think so.
I have too.
I think so, but I remember I didn't really like it. Was years ago because they are looking to you're just looking at their back, like they're.
Yeah, it's a high mass. Yeah, I've been to Latin masses where they have the back to you, and I've been to Latin where they're speaking Latin, but they're not. They're looking at you. I don't like the back to you at all.
No, but I do like to understand what they're talking about.
Well, it's basically the same thing every time, so it's not that hard to figure it out.
Yeah, but the sermon and the scripture when they read, I want to know what they're talking about.
Well, the sermons are I've never had it where they did the sermon in Latin. They always did sermon in English.
Yeah, but here I went the other day to one in German because I missed the one in Spanish. And I was like, what the hell? I'm just gonna go to the one in German. And it was nice actually. It just felt weird.
When I was younger, I went to a mass at a Catholic hospital because it was at 3:15 in the afternoon on Sunday. Wow, that was loud. And
it really was.
That was loud.
He's always loud.
Yeah. Well, he's always got his mic on because he's walking and doing shit. So I used to go to this mass, and because it was in the hospital, and the mass was for doctors and nurses and stuff and the staff, and it was an 18-minute mass, and it was by a Maronite priest, a Lebanese priest, and it was awesome because he talked really fast. He was born in the United States, so he didn't have an accent or anything, and he was very funny. It was a very quick mass, and you were in and out in 18 minutes. And they did it mostly because the doctors and nurses, they're on call. They could get called out to a patient at any moment.
Yeah, that was a quickie. 18 minutes. That's super quickie.
The fastest mass I've ever been to.
Yeah, I've been to 30-minute mass. Probably that's the quickest.
Well, I used to be an altar boy, so I did a lot of masses and benedictions and all that stuff. And weddings and funerals.
Yeah, I don't like. To be honest, I'm not a fan of going to mass. Like, I don't like the repetitive stuff. Like, I'm not really a religious person, but I do like the feeling of being inside of a church. I do like so much.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Spain?
Yeah.
You've been to the Familia Sagrada?
Sagrada Familia in Barcelona.
Yeah, Sagrada Familia, rather. Yes, yeah, I said it backwards. I was there a long time ago. So it wasn't nearly as well constructed as it is now, but it is a very cool place.
Yeah, I agree, but that is because it's also kind of like in construction all the time, and so I don't know. It's a weird place. I'm not. I mean, it's supposed to be like super art, whatever, but I don't get it.
Well, it's absolutely gothic, but they started construction on that like 1904. It's been under construction for that long.
Forever. And it's still supposed to be under construction for another few decades until they finish it. Because the plans are like so complex or all the details, like I don't know, the plan is like super long thing. I'm reading the comments in the chat. You see, I feel loved.
Did you know that the architect of the church, Anthony Gaudi, you know how he died?
No.
He got hit by a small train, a little tram, in 1926.
Oh wow.
He got hit by a train.
I didn't know this. It must have been painful.
Not necessarily. I think that's how quick it was.
Oh, Miss Christina. I like Buttercup. I think she brings, I don't know, like challenge, spice, you know, for conversations.
Issa, so Jeff and I don't bring anything in terms of color commentary to the competition?
Yeah, sometimes. I hate your rivalry.
She's pretty annoying.
I laughed a lot when she said that she had it with Emrose because she's stealing her thunder. I thought that was funny. I don't think, I think Buttercup is much more likable than Emrose. She at least knows how to joke, you know?
Do you think she's tired of people saying, "What's up, Buttercup"?
Yeah, of course. Derisive, did you find people to talk to about the episode?
I'm literally starting a room right now. I'll send you a link if you want to come.
No, I gotta go to bed because it's 3 a.m. I don't really know what I'm doing. But did you find anyone to speak about it?
Well, I talked about it a little bit, and then I was doing stuff all day, and I was co-modding another room about a different topic, and I'm literally about to do it right now. I was out of my head last night when I was talking to you.
Okay, what else did you find? Just give me the bullet points.
You know, it's not just one thing in particular, but just like the sort of the world view that it paints, and then in particular, I'm obsessed with this idea now that it seems like he had orchestrated up to 4 rigged lottery jackpots.
That is crazy. Huh, Daniel.
Okay. Sleep well, my darling.
Isa, are you in Spain right now?
No.
No, I am in Geneva, Switzerland.
Oh, okay.
I cannot find my TV remote for more than a day now.
Your remote?
Yes. And it's really frustrating. I just wanted to share.
Have you looked in the, I don't know, like in the sofa?
It looks everywhere like 4 times already.
Under the sofa?
Yes, with the light, with the flashlight.
You will not. Okay, you will not believe what I lost. I lost. You know, I have those little round.
A North screw, Shirley?
Well, the vacuum cleaners, the little round disco vacuum cleaner. That little damn thing got lost in my house somewhere and died, and I cannot find it. I mean, how retarded is that?
Yeah, I know.
And do not tell me that retarded is an ugly word. Retarded is what I'm calling myself.
It's a perfectly fine word that people get upset about.
Well, I'm not calling some child retarded. I'm calling myself retarded.
Don't be racist
Children
against
are retarded
words.
sometimes.
All right, Shirley, you need to buy a bunch of air tags and put it on all the things you might lose.
That is true, Joe.
That's too expensive.
Like her mind.
If I could air tag the mind, we would be in business.
Well, you know what? It's expensive, but you know what? That all of that frustration and anxiety would go away.
Well, guess what? We bought the thing was about to go wear out anyway, but so I bought a new one. But still, I'm gonna find that disco in my house somewhere. That little disc. It's ridiculous. I don't need to give anybody any ammunition because, you know, since I'm the grandmother in the room, there's always some little ass who wants to call me demented. So just so nobody gets started.
I don't mess with the woman from Texas next to San Marcos, okay?
That sounds smart. Very smart.
Darn it, Shirley.
My mama.
I had it on the tip of my tongue to say.
Okay? I don't mess with Texas women around the San Marcos, Wimberley, Austin area, okay?
That's right.
That's why you guys are still alive.
Yeah, don't mess with Texans. I told somebody that one time. I went to Washington, D.C., and I was renting this Airbnb, and the lady was just being so condescending and rude because she just thought anybody in the South had to be a moron. And I just...
like 60 or 50%. Like not all of them. It's like...
So what are you saying, Daniel?
Oh, it's the other half I was talking about.
Well, anyway, she was being very, you know, like, she was being stupid. And she had irritated me enough that I told her, do not honk at people in Texas. We carry. Because in Washington, D.C., they will honk at you to go into incoming traffic.
I have a friend in Texas, and he keeps saying y'all, and you don't say y'all at all. He literally said it like every other sentence.
I do say y'all, but I just haven't had a reason to say it yet.
He finds the reason in every sentence. He finds the reason.
I'm waiting for you to tell somebody they're precious.
I do call people precious. Well, isn't that precious?
I
have
think
noticed on that.
I think that is a very, very good phrase. It works anywhere, and you don't have to be from the South to use it.
To call somebody precious.
Yeah. You can be from anywhere.
It's like it's very inclusive. It's not like you guys or like y'all. It's like all of you.
Well, we say use guys.
Use guys.
Use guys.
Use guys. But it's still guys, you know.
Okay, I'm from. I spent a lot of my youth in a metroplex, so I've been known to say you guys. In a world of how do you say that? People with their pronouns, and you call people y'all or you guys. It's like
a woke world.
Correct. Or like all of the other things.
Breaking news. Tom Malinowski, the former congressman, wins the primary for Governor Mikey Sherrill's former seat, which is New Jersey 11. That just says Tuesday today. There was an election tonight. I know many people here can be interested in that.
Did y'all talk about Kamala HQ?
No, there's been no room all day. This is the first room.
Yeah, I saw that, Kim. What is that about? Like,
I can tell you what it is. It's very easy. It's a test balloon. And it's a test balloon that was full of lead. And it didn't rise. It didn't rise up. It fell right to the ground. She has no riz with regular people. She got riz with the donors. But I think it was very smart and should convince her that she needn't run. It was a dud of...
I don't think she's convinced. I think she's going to keep trying, Ben.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. But it was a dud of... It was like a 10 out of 10 dud. I love a milk dud. I love Elmer Fudd. I even love... It was a dud. It was really bad. It was bad, y'all.
okay.
There's no way around it. Sorry, Kimberly Foster.
No, because I'm trying to. Where are the accounts?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's really bad.
I think you're correct, Ben, but in Democratic Party politics, a lot of the operatives just want jobs in the campaign. So you understand there's a lot of people that will get high-paid jobs if Kamala runs, and they'd rather have that high pay for a year than get a Democrat-elected president. So what I'm saying is, even if sitting here in this room, we know for sure that Andy Bashir is most likely to win the election.
I have an on topic, because you're about to go off. I have something about Kamala HQ, because you're going to go off. Okay, so
You know it was off topic and muted up.
I'm trying to, read more. So I haven't really been on the internet today. I'm just catching up on my news feeds. So 12 hours ago, there are these stories that Kamala HQ launched. I'm confused because I'm